Hello my lovelies, I hope you're having the most fabulous of weeks. Today's video is going to be a very long overdue recent makes. I thought when I was thinking back that I hadn't really made very many things, but actually the things that I've made over this spring I think have to be some of my most favourite things that I've ever made. I really feel like I've kind of got into the groove where my own personal style is concerned, and I've been really enjoying the things that I have made. Just jump in and see some of the loveliness that I've made for my vintage inspired wardrobe. So those of you who spend any time with me at all, and I am so grateful for those of you who do, I love to share my sewing adventure with you, as you know. Well, you lovelies will know my love of this pattern, the Simplicity 8447. You'd think that I'd remember this number, the number of times I have made and adapted this pattern. I really love the blouse pattern in this, and I've made quite a few adaptations, and I'll add card to one of the first, which was removing the pleat out of this and creating a high puff sleeve. We love a bit of a poofle. One that I made this spring out of this really lovely viscose kind of challis. In the video I do a tutorial on how to create these, the sleeves of fabulosity as I call them, and I also look at doing smocking. My smocking experiment wasn't necessarily the most successful thing that I have ever done, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was also really lovely that the smocking book that I was using, both of them were vintage, but one of them was Deighton's book of smocking, and I did a bit of research about the company, and I think probably we're related way back when, somewhere in the 1800s, which is when the company started. But I absolutely love this blouse. It's really comfortable, feel really glamorous in it, and sleeves of fabulosity. What more can I say? My next adaptation for the Simplicity blouse pattern was to turn it into a shirt dress. Shirt dresses were ubiquitous in the 30s and 40s. I mean, actually every era has got that sort of shirt waist or button down version, and I have tried other patterns with maybe more of a 50s gathered skirt look, and I don't really feel that they work so well with me. For some reason the 40s silhouette seems to be my sweet spot, so I made two versions. So this was the first one that I made in a lovely viscose rayon that I got from Missy Mop Fabrics, and the buttons are sort of faux vintage. I don't think they're really vintage, but they were a free thing from a magazine, something like Molly Makes, many eons ago. So I made this, and it's got working buttons, but it also zips up the side. It's actually a little bit big for me, as is this one, which I made from an amazing vintage floral gauze or glazed cotton that's also from the 1930s, and this dress is specifically based on dresses from that sort of very, like, the outset of the Second World War. So also exactly the same, but this one does actually have vintage buttons, and I can't tell you how much I love both of these dresses. I wear them absolutely all the time. They're my go-to dress, especially as the weather's warming up. They're just perfect for spring, and you can put a little cardigan over them. You can zhuzh them up and have them as a sort of slightly more glam thing, or just put a pair of Converse on or ballet flats and sort of be a bit more cash. So really love these. Definitely going to be making more, and I'm thinking that maybe a sort of a cream or a very pale blush pink linen would be perfecto for summer. I think it's probably one of my most favourite things that I have ever made. So that's quite a high praise. This next make, this dress here, was an exclusive Patreon project. So my lovely patrons chose between two designs, and what I've been doing over there is taking students through pattern drafting blocks to our own measurements, so that then you can use those to create loveliness like this dress. So this is based on a 1940s sundress with asymmetric sleeves and so on. So over on Patreon I take you step by step through the process how to pattern draft this using your own blocks or blocks that fit you if you're doing that. And the fabric for this is also vintage, really pretty colours, a lovely cotton, and it's got this scalloped sleeve cuff detail and a flutter sleeve. And I wasn't entirely sure when I started making this that I'd really love it on me, but actually it's really fabulous. It's that moment where you think, oh, this isn't going to work or this isn't going to fit, and then actually it fits perfectly, and that's because you've drafted the pattern to your own measurements. So you negate all the frustration of however fabulous things like this are, and it's a bit like being in a sweet shop when you see all these wonderful patterns. But what's really great, I suppose, about what I do, and what there are other people who do this as well, is that you can just see a picture of a frock you like or an item that you like and feel, I really need that in my wardrobe. And because you have the foundation knowledge and understand the pattern drafting process, which is so much easier than you think it's going to be, you're able to just knock one up to your measurements, and you don't really have all the awkward tweaking and issues that you get with all the commercial patterns, independent patterns, whoever patterns that you buy, because they're all kind of standardized and got their own dimensions and issues, and they fit certain people and well and not other people. Anyway, what I'm saying is it's well worth learning to pattern draft and having a set of blocks to your own measurements, because the sewing world is then your oyster. The next thing that I made is also another Patreon project, and we did a whole month of couture techniques. And this skirt, which you can't really see, but I will put other footage in so you can see it, is a pencil skirt. It's my bespoke skirt block, which was also another project over there at Tara's School of Dressmaking. I constructed this skirt using couture techniques as they would in the house of Chanel and Dior and all of those gorgeous labels that are pretty much out of my price range. I mean, it's not the most remarkable, incredible, exciting item of clothing. I'm quite excited about it. But the way that it feels, because it's been constructed using those techniques, so the majority of this skirt has been hand sewn, and all the finishes in it, the pressing and, you know, processes and zip insertion, all of those things have been done using those traditional couture techniques. And even though it was incredibly labour intensive, I have to say the way that it feels on my body is, I can really tell that there's something different about this skirt. There's something really special about it, in a way that if I just sort of made a pencil skirt and just sort of whizzed it up, even if it was fitting me, I don't think that it would feel quite as incredible on the body. We're very nearly at the end of my recent makes, I think. Probably forgotten stuff. But is this dress here. So this is just a t-shirt dress. There's an amazing stain on this, which look, you can just see there. So excuse me. Don't know what happened there. Obviously enjoying dinner a bit too much, and a cow plus boobyliciousness is just a magnet for this kind of thing. Anyway, so this is basically a t-shirt dress with a cowl neck, and it's just made out of a really lovely red jersey that I had left over from a costume job. It doesn't take up much fabric at all, and it's just a self-drafted pattern and based off of designs by Vivienne Westwood, Dame Viv. Absolutely love Vivienne Westwood. Happy birthday to her, because she's 80 now. Elasticated waist, and yeah, it's not sitting very well. The hem's not particularly good. I don't have a cover stitch machine, and it's actually stretched out a bit, but I'm hoping that with a bit of pressing and steaming it will lay a bit flatter. And I just love this dress. I definitely want to make one in a stripe to do that kind of Breton-y stripe, and it feels like pyjamas. It's so comfortable to wear, and it looks really glam if you want to be glam, but then actually you're really comfortable, and sometimes we just need comfortable, don't we? So this was a real winner. I didn't film it, I didn't document it, I just made it one evening because I really wanted to, add the idea. But if you'd like to see how to make something like this, then I would happily show you. Last but not least is the pink 1940s, early 50s shirtwaister that I altered and resized and repaired in a recent video, cards, etc. Absolutely love this dress. Been wearing it all the time, although I just feel like I need to be a little bit careful because it is very old. But I'm really pleased with the outcome, and you know, just taking the time to breathe a little bit of new life into a vintage beauty. And I love this shade of pink. I think it's really gorgeous. I mean, my favourite combination really is blush pink with cream and black. That's sort of my wardrobe. I've deviated a little bit with my colours, my colour palette in my wardrobe, and I'm really pleased that I have done that. You know, sometimes you do need to try other things, and I feel like after the last couple of years of being so sort of things being tricky, sometimes you need to lighten up, and a very easy way to do that is just to sort of wear lighter colours, isn't it? And that's what our wardrobes are for. They're there to make us feel good, to inject a little bit of amazingness in our life if we possibly can. So that was another very successful make, and I will be wearing this all through the summer. I think it's going to be the summer of the shirt dress. I think that's it. That's my theme. Thank you so much for spending time with me today and watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed sharing some of my recent makes with me, and I'd love to know which one or ones you think are particularly successful, and also what are your favourite recent makes. I love to share my sewing adventure with you, and I love it when you share your sewing adventure with me. I'm very grateful for you taking the time to spend the time with me, and those of you who subscribe and share regularly my sewing adventures, I'm so incredibly grateful. Thank you so much. And if you enjoy vintage inspired and DIY style, and sewing is your cup of tea, then please do subscribe. I'm very grateful for your support. It really does mean a huge amount. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're keeping safe and well, and do remember that even though the world seems out of control sometimes, we can make it better, just one little stitch at a time. I shall see you soon, my lovelies. Take care.